Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give the video a big thumbs up and share. That way it'll generate notifications for others to know that we are here. And for that, we say thank you so very much, family. How many of you all remember over a year ago now, I believe it is, I did a broadcast on specifically the United States Global Fragility Act. And I sounded the alarm to our family here on this network that the United States has passed an international law and has an international law. It's been in the books for a minute, but they were actually activating parts that were previously dormant in recent times so that they could use that as an authority to invade parts of Africa. How many of y'all remember that? All you got to do is pull it up. Well, guess what? That same act is said to be at work in Haiti. No surprise there, right? Well, beloved, I want you to watch this very brief clip here about the recent ouster of Haiti's prime minister that was put in place. He was only in place for about 6 months, Mr. Garry Conille. Watch this brief clip.
Haitian Prime Minister Garry Conille has been ousted from office a mere 6 months after assuming leadership. The ruling council's decision to remove him, replacing him with businessman and former Senate candidate Alex Didier Fils-Aimé, has plunged a politically fragile nation into further uncertainty. A former United Nations official brought in to navigate Haiti through its most critical security crisis decried his dismissal as both illegal and unconstitutional. In a letter obtained by various media outlets, he expressed serious concerns about the legitimacy of the process, arguing that only Parliament, not the Transitional Presidential Council, has the constitutional authority to remove a sitting prime minister.
Okay, did you hear that, family? Did you hear the fact that the reporter from, I want to get this right, the New Africa Channel, yes, said that sources show, explained through a letter that Mr. Cornell sounded the alarm about his ouster being illegal, yes, and that the Presidential Council had no authority to remove him. And what do we know? We know that the United States is behind the forming of that illegal council. He said that only the parliamentarians had the authority to remove him, but yet he's gone, right? Well, we all know that the previous prime minister ended up stepping down in a dramatic turn, surprisingly, shockingly. And we know that the previous leadership there was also taken out and assassinated. We know all about that, right? And we know that some of the ground forces, because I discussed it right here, one of the whistleblowers on the ground told us that the very one that they put in place, that the powers that shouldn't be put in place as a puppet, is the very one that they took out. Now, how many of you all know I did several broadcasts on Haiti, where I told you all that I heard from a whistleblower that saw one of my previous Haiti broadcasts here. And this particular whistleblower told me that some of his family had business dealings back in the day. And that what's really behind a lot of what was going on is that sometime back, they were concerned that business was going to be done with Russia. So the U.S. and other forces ended up messing with that because they were looking to do deals sort of like this pre-BRICS type of sort of, relationship. And I'm using that term very lightly. How many of you all know that I also sounded the alarm about certain extraterrestrial minerals and resources that hit Haiti, and that some of these different countries and factions and forces buying through the UN under the cover of the UN, according to some of the folks that's on the ground there. That broadcast is here available too. She says that those trucks travel at night and they're actually moving those resources, those extraterrestrial resources around that are good for technological advances and other things, right? Well, watch this. Why am I saying the U.S. is behind some of this? Well, according to this piece related to the Global Fragility Act, which I sounded the alarm, this headline says, roping Haiti into the Global Fragility Act is Washington's end goal. Family, this piece says, and I'm going to read a little bit of this. This is it says in the two-part of this series, Ross shows how Washington has organized several programs to fund and influence Haitian civil society organizations, CSOs, through the Civil Society Strengthening Program, and potentially fill the government action control body, a consultative body, to the Presidential Council with compliant CSO leaders who are in sync with U.S. policy goals in Haiti. In addition, you said That's a United Nations group. Haiti's Electoral Security and Support Program threatens to allow Washington to once again skew the results in Haiti's elections. After calling an emergency meeting in Kingston, Jamaica on March 11th to concoct a way to fill the void left by the former Minister Ariel Henry's unexpected ouster, Washington finally swore in its 9-member temporary presidential council, which is known as the TPC, on April 25th, although the ceremony had to be done secretly. Are y'all listening? At the National Palace due to the body's unpopularity. The TPC would be installed, and it talks about where it's going to be installed and the caretakers and all that kind of stuff, and said that they believed that the area around the palace was too dangerous, on and on and on. It says that the TPC is unpopular because its 9 members, 7 that have voting power and 2 observers, are viewed by most Haitians as sellouts. To sit on the council, they had to agree to the 3rd foreign military intervention into Haiti in 3 decades. The first 2 were 1994 through 2000, and then from 2004 to 2019. The proxy force, it says that Washington wants to see Occupy Haiti is called the Multinational Security Support Mission, MSS, to be led by Kenyan police with the assistance of armed forces from 6 other nations. Now, how many of you all know that I've been calling out President Ruto of Kenya because the United States gave him an unprecedented welcome as one of the few African countries it's welcome, I think, in like 15 years in recent history. How many of y'all know Ruto then turned around and got an award from one of the business commerce organizations here? What in the world are all these U.S. forces giving Ruto all these awards and ceremonies for? Talk black to me, somebody. And I already sounded the alarm on Ruto when he signed that little, but I felt the beginnings of a suspicious deal with Ursula von der Leyen. That little trade agreement and stuff that they were supposed to be renewing. And then in that, remember, he turned around and talked about his support for Ukraine. If you don't sit your funny looking self down, but I digress. It goes on in this article to talk about the fact, listen, using the soft power and hard power forces outlined in this series, first 2 articles, Washington seeks to ensure the election of a new Haitian president who will quickly sign on to the dotted line of a deal called the Global Fragility Act, which would essentially place Haiti back in colonial status with U.S. troops stationed in a nation made dependent on USAID humanitarian assistance shipments. And so much more. I'm probably going to be doing multiple follow-ups on this because I've done previous broadcasts. I hate to say it. I hate to say I sounded the alarm a long time ago about the Global Fragility Act, but I did. And I hope y'all are listening. And I hope we're paying attention. And I hope we can learn from this. We're going to talk more about it. Give me your comments below, family. My name is Vicki Dillard. Follow me at vickydillard.tv and my website at vickyplanet.com. I can't wait to see you again.